Hello there. This is MD. With you here on Everything PS. Here we go again. We are in a new tutorial. In this tutorial, I am gonna show you how to loop animated backgrounds in Adobe Premiere Pro. If you are interested, stay tuned. For this tutorial, I'm using the Looping Animated Backgrounds Premiere Pro project file. You can find that project file with the media associated with this tutorial. Just double-click on the project file to open it in Premiere Pro. In Premiere Pro, I'm using the Effects workspace, and you can reset that workspace by clicking on the panel menu and choosing Reset to Saved Layout. I've got a sequence here that contains just a graphic which animates on screen, but there is nothing behind it. I want to have a background. Just play this so you can see. That is our simple animation. And though you can't see that the background to the timeline is transparent, because by default it comes through as black. If I click on the settings menu here in the program monitor, I can turn on the transparency grid, and you can see what's going on more clearly. I just turned that off, and now let's see if we can generate a background that will be a little more interesting. I'm going to begin by creating a black color mat. So I'll just resize the project panel a little here. As we can see all of the buttons at the bottom of the panel. I'm going to click on the new item menu here, and I'm going to choose color mat. By default, the new color mat will be based on the current sequence setting. So we have got width and height and time based. And so on set correctly. I'll click OK. We can choose a color with a standard color picker. And I'll click OK again. Because I'm happy with black. I'll type in the name. Background. I'll click OK. And here is our background color mat. In the project panel. Color mat in Premiere Pro work the same way as any kind of graphic. So if I drag this into my sequence on the video 1 track under the graphic, well, of course, you're not gonna see anything because it's black color mat and there's a black background. Rather than trim the background right the way out to the duration of the graphic, instead, we're going to apply a looping effect. So we can duplicate the graphic and use it again and again in multiple sequences. And keep the timing off the loop. So I'm gonna set a specific duration instead. I am gonna right-click on the background. And I'm gonna choose speed duration. I'm gonna make sure the chain link is off between the speed control and the duration. Because this is a graphic, the speed options grayed out anyway. But still, I'm going to click into the duration box. And I'm going to type in 1000. I don't need any punctuation. Because Premiere Pro's gonna put that in for me automatically. So if I just click away from the box, you can see now this is 10 seconds. And I'll click OK. And there's our 10-second background clip, which is just a black color mat. I'm also going to turn off visibility of video too, so we can see what we're working on more clearly. And I'll resize this little bit. So we had a thumbnail. Now I'll position the playhead of the very beginning of the sequence. And over in my effects panel, I'm gonna search for the cell pattern effect. I'm just typing in cell in the search box. I'll drag this onto the clip. And immediately you can see we have got this very interesting cellular pattern. If I play the sequence a little, you can see that actually the cell pattern's not animating at all. It's a static image. I'm just stop that. Reposition my playhead beginning of the clip. The cell pattern effect has quite a few options. And I think the best way to learn how to use this effect is to work your way through them. And just drag them from one end to the other. Here, for example, if I drive the contrast of the way down, you can see we got a completely great image. And if drag it all the way up, I get a much stronger black and white effect. I'm gonna reset that. The control I'm really interested in is this one. Evolution. I'm gonna turn on animation for this control. And this is going to add a keyframe. You can just about see here. Beginning off the little mini timeline inside the effect controls panel. Now, I'm going to make sure the timeline panel is active. And I've just clicked on it once. And I'm gonna press the down arrow to move to the end of this background clip. In fact, what I've really done is I've moved to the frame just after it. The down arrow and upper arrow will always move you to the first frame of a clip, not the lost frame. In this case there is no clip after to the background color matte. So, we just at the beginning of the blank space. However, we still have the background clip selected. So, if I had a keyframe, it's actually going to be applied to this background clip, even though it's beyond the end of the clip. And this is important because it allows for more advanced animation options. Let me scroll down just a little bit here so I can expand the evolution options. There we go. A little bit more. And I'm gonna set the number of evolutions to 6. And I'm gonna type in X 6 times. Press enter here. And you can see that's come up that 6 full evolutions am last keyframe. These evolutions have changes to the pattern effect. We're gonna turn on cycle evolution so that it loops. And we want the number of cycles to align with the numbers of evolutions so that we can loop the clip cleanly. I'm gonna choose 2 because 2 goes evenly into 6. Now because we've got a clean number of evolutions and cycles in this effect on that last keyframe, clip is actually going to end up looking the same at the end as it does at the beginning. I just drag back a little bit so you can see this. And I'll play a little of the effect. It's a very interesting result. Now that we have a perfectly looping clip, we can begin to be duplicating. I'm gonna hold the Alt key here on Windows. This would be the Option key on Mac OS. And drag the clip along on the timeline until it snaps into position. So it perfectly aligns with previous copy of the clip. I'm going to do that again. I'm holding down Alt or Option, creating a copy, release the Alt key, and snap back. And the graphic has to be exactly 30 seconds. So we've got a perfectly aligned background to our foreground graphic. Now, let's add a color change. Again, I'm going to position my playhead at the beginning of the sequence. I'm gonna select the first instance of this background clip. And I'm gonna switch over to our color workspace. And just reset that workspace to be on the safe side. And here, in the elementary color panel, I'll expand the basic correction. And I'll just pull this over towards the blue. I'm being pretty lazy here. But you can see the result. I'm gonna go to my effect controls panel. Make sure I've got this background layer selected. Let's collapse the cell pattern settings for a moment. Expand the basic correction for the lumetri color effect. Remember, the controls you see here in effect controls panel. All literally the same ones as the ones you can access quickly in the lumetri color panel. Here is my temperature setting that I've just modified. And I'm gonna turn on animation for that setting. We've now got a keyframe at the beginning of the clip. Back in the timeline panel. And just clicking to make it active. And press the down arrow once. I've got a problem. Because when you switch to the color workspace, Premiere Pro automatically enables this option under the sequence menu. Selection follows playhead. By pressing the down arrow, I've moved ahead onto the next clip. Because that means we've selected the next clip. That's okay. I'll just select the first clip again. My playhead is still in position. And I'm gonna click to add a keyframe for this temperature control. So we've got the same setting at the beginning and end of the clip. And I can go to the middle of the clip. I'm just doing this approximately. And I'll warm up that color temperature. Let's push this over to orange. Now as I scroll through here, you can see we're going blue, orange, blue. I'm back to the original on color version straight after that. I'm going to remove these copies. From hitting the backspace key here. I'll take this original which now has the color effect on it. And I will drag this. Snap into position. I will drag. Snap into position. Now because again with the color temperature adjustment. I set the keyframes to be just off to the end of the clip. Which happens to align with the very beginning of the next clip. We're gonna have beautifully looping color. And all of the cell pattern effects. They are gonna merge from one into the other. I'll just turn on visibility for the graphic. I'll play across one of these edits. So you can see the result. So we have this seamless join in the automation of the cell pattern. And in the animation of the color. So that's how you can create a looping animated background in Adobe Premiere Pro. Finally. We are done for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave your comment down below. In the comments section. Also. If you are interested in Adobe After Effects. Take a look at our second channel. Saskiano. See you next time. Bye.